you doing?
I'm Will Trawan, and I did education for my project. And I chose this topic because, you know, education is really important. It should be important to everyone. It's one of the, it's the most important thing. And I always like people to help me when I ask, and so I enjoy helping other people and helping them. And I really enjoy being around kids. I have several little cousins and nephews. I have 2 5-year-olds and a 6-year-old and a baby. I love being around them, and I love being spending time with them and just helping them and interacting with them. And I really wanted to do something rewarding with my senior project because I just didn't want to waste it, and I figured I could do something helpful that would benefit others. And my facilitator is Miss Karen Wilson. She was born in Guatemala, and she moved here about 20 years ago, and she's been teaching for 15 of them. And she works at Battleground Elementary, which is about an hour away, but it was really hard with my schedule because I have to go to school to do things, and my mom works there, so, and I knew Miss Wilson already, so I decided to go there. And she let me, observe her classroom, and she was very helpful and everything, helping me through everything. And she graduated from the University of Tennessee, and she's been teaching for 15 years, and she has a daughter who also teaches. And my paper was on the evolution of teaching in the United States. And early on, teaching consisted of large open rooms with like up to 500 people in it, led by one school teacher, and there was individual higher educated students that would teach them, and that was called the Lancaster method. And then after that, around the 1920s, it became a more progressive style of teaching, which basically meant the student was targeted more, and it was much more interactive, and like lessons were more to standards than before. And this lasted until like the 1960s, late 1960s, and then after that, open classrooms kind of came back, and walls were knocked out of schools, and the value of the education went down by a lot. It was a pretty drastic failure in our time period, for education in that time period. And then from about 1975 onward, we had the more kind of teaching we see now, with structured lesson plans, and it was much more structured, and it's just what we see today. You have classrooms and tests, and because in the open classrooms and progressive, there really wasn't that many tests or assessments, and students went. And then most recently, we've kind of moved toward technology-based learning, which now we have things like smart boards and computers, and things are becoming more online and more accessible to the students.
You have to push it on the board to get the little arrow on it.
And developing product. I went in and I observed, I missed a day of school to observe Miss Wilson's classroom for an entire day. And my original plan was to just tutor the kids, but I had to develop a product. So I researched first grade standards and decided I would develop a 2-school week or 10-day lesson plan that covers first grade reading and language arts. And it was interesting because at the school I went to, they actually provided iPads for the kids. I was pretty surprised. surprised that technology-based learning was this popular even in elementary schools. And so when I created my unit plan, you can look at it while I speak if you'd like. And like I said, it contains lesson plans for 2 school weeks. And grammar concepts include spelling, using correct punctuation, and there's an entire lesson on distinguishing two, and two, like the different spelling and when to use them. You know, they're starting to learn what's a question and what's a statement and an exclamatory and everything. And to encourage reading at home, while we do read some in the lesson plan, they're given a take-home reading log that their parents are supposed to help them read, and they'll sign off and fill it out as they go. And they will be also learning to construct simple sentences, formatting them correctly. And these are some of the worksheets I've developed. It's got the punctuation practice, like when to put a period, what's a question, and the worksheet on the 2, and 2, the 3 different versions of word 2. And the challenges were developing a product. Originally, I just wanted to tutor children, but there really wasn't a concrete product that was available for that, so I had to figure out what I could do to develop a product, and just coming up with ideas. When I went to the school, like, I was shocked by how short their attention spans really are, and how easily they get distracted. And it was very eye-opening, and it was hard to keep them, engaged sometimes. And just teaching children, I had never done anything like it before, so it was a bit of a learning stretch. And besides helping my little brother, he's a freshman, it was a lot more difficult than that. And it took a lot of patience. Patience is the most important thing when dealing with young children, because obviously they're not as smart as you, and they just don't think like you do, because their brains aren't developed yet. And the things that I've learned I honestly don't think teaching is, after doing this, I don't think it's the correct.
Pardon the interruption. I need Jack Shaughnessy to counseling before he leaves for the day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think it would be the best career for me to pursue after doing this, but a lot of my family are teachers. My grandpa was a teacher, my mom's a teacher, and my aunt's also a teacher. And I gained a lot of respect for my teachers, because what they do isn't easy, and it's tough to keep people engaged and can build things that will help them learn. And I underline this one because this is probably the most important thing I can take away from this. Time management is important. I've always been the type of guy who will put off something till the day before a test. And that's just, I learned with this project you couldn't do that. And so I really had to manage my time and pick out dates when to go to the school and when to email my facilitator. It couldn't all be done in one day. And thank you for your time.
What was the time?
Track, were you recording?
No time in it?
Yeah.
9 minutes and 7 seconds.
5 minutes?
9 minutes and 7
Oh,
seconds.
I was about to say. Seemed like a lot longer than that. Okay, these are.
No, about
These-
Jack.